Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies, strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
All right.
Who doesn't want to bring Joel to the stage? Hey, Joel.
Well, hello.
Welcome. Oh my goodness, Joel Snyder. Goodness, you are one of my favorite mentors, right up there with Timothy. I got to say, this man comes with a wealth of knowledge from a corporate background and will just blow you away. The customer-centered concept, the customer journey, you name it. He's been doing this CMO thing for a while now. We won't date you and say how long, because Timothy and I were dating ourselves earlier, talking about how long we remember phones coming out or something. So, but Joel brings so much knowledge. You've got a whole team supporting you, and you've got some systems in place. I know we've had some fun conversations too, and I bring you in on my projects all the time. So great collaborator. Joel, I'm excited. What are you talking to us about today?
Well, I think what's interesting, we've had a lot of conversations in recent months, of course, around AI and the way people are leveraging it. But what I wanted to really bring out today is the relationship of a CMO and how that interacts in this AI era. And so, one of the topics that we often kind of ignore is what's the real value of intuition and what drives inspiration to direct the AI prompts and to direct the refinement of the AI-driven content. So I kind of just have a nice overview on how that all interplays.
I know he always brings the A game with the top overview that you're like, man.
I love learning. And whenever we get experts and experienced people in the room, you always pick up one or two things from each person, and it's sort of an iteration on what they call the Socratic method of learning, where you ask a lot of questions and then a lot of really good, solid information nuggets get dropped on the table, and then you can sort of pull what you need from that conversation. So, Joel, how did you get into the space to begin with? Like, what's your background for the audience that, as far as the folks that don't know you?
Yeah. Well, I think what's kind of fun in my journey is having spent a number of years in the corporate marketing world. I had the privilege of working in the human behavior side, or what I call the human side of business. And so when you talk about what really drives profits in a company, it's people. And it can be an expense or it can be a profitable venture, right? And we know that the return on an investment of an employee's hour is anywhere from 4-to-1 to 10-to-1. So as we're looking at what's the value of that employee, what's called a production value, right? We have to say, okay, what behaviors affect that, and how can we optimize these behaviors to increase the most production value, right? And so we have everything from automations to tools and things that make people's jobs easier and their workplace more happy and so on. And so from the incentive industry,
Hmm.
which is behavior rewards, we see everything from consumer incentives, take a cruise for buying this product, to employee incentives, which just simply says make fewer mistakes and we all make more money. It could be shortages, right? It could be overages. It could be accuracy, right? There's lots of things. Workflow, the time it takes to send a document from the front of the house to the back of the house and
Hmm.
back to the front again, right? There's all of these things that we optimize along the way. And so my real passion was, okay, if we're doing this at the corporate level, how does that mid-size regional company take advantage of these things where they don't have a huge staff? They don't have 20 people in production and 20 people in a front office to really do it right. So by bringing the knowledge in and working as a fractional executive, meaning, we come in, do a project part-time, it's not a full-time hire. How do we take the skill set of what corporate is doing to optimize their production values and bring it down to where people are using their profits to influence their community, build parks, sponsor little league teams.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of ways. Dance troupes, right? Lots of fun things that they do inside their community. Join their Rotary,
Hmm.
participate in senior centers. There's lots of things like that. And that's largely driven with the mid-sized regional companies. So where corporate structure has some community development people out there that are doing some nice things in the community, it's generally that mid-sized company that has the passion for their local area to create jobs and provide more resources. So that's what's driven me into this space.
What about your background? Like, how did you even start out? Like, where did you come from? Like, where did this awesomeness called Joel Snyder come from?
Excuse me. Well, it's funny because I started as an ad salesman doing
Hmm.
ads in a local weekly newspaper. We had a little newspaper in the community, and we went around to the local car dealerships and used car lots and put their ads in, and the carpet stores and all of those things. So it was fun to kind of cut your teeth on sales and the advertising world and the marketing world. And so kind of worked my way up, and then in doing that, got in with the rewards, providing actual rewards to employee groups for safety and small stuff. Then was captured by the larger marketing companies, Carlson Marketing Group, certificates companies, and some of those to do work for them and educate their distributors on a regional level. So I covered the 13 Western United States and got to work with some really great people on very large corporate programs. And so that's where, the evolution has come for me.
Love it. That speaks a lot to your breadth of knowledge and your background as it relates to helping people. Even as we jump into some of your presentation today, you ready to rock and roll? Let's have some fun.
Let's do it. So again, just kind of a little bit about the background. We've over 40 years now of experience in sales and marketing, and we've constructed a team that is now running managed campaigns, because there are three main elements. You're going to hear about this a lot today: predictable, profitable, and scalable. So we need a multi-layered approach in order to inform our growth pathway. And so as we kind of look at this, what's really our vision as a company is to give you a trusted advocate, because in the end, a lot of agencies out there are selling packages, right? Buy our SEO package, buy our website campaigns, buy our email, our LinkedIn outreach, and so on, right? And that's all fine and good. And we need specialists in those areas. But when it comes to what's going to effectively grow your business, we need to look at strategies that kind of cut through the noise, that create a scalable result by implementing good emotional connections, again, modifying people's behaviors so that we get conversion actions, right? Things that actually are going to move the needle for a company to help them on their growth path. So my vision was to redefine the marketing agency relationship. We want to provide a gold standard of client advocacy so that we're not spending just to spend. We want to be fiduciaries on your budget. We know that marketing and advertising costs is your grocery money. It comes right off the bottom line. And if you're not seeing a return on that investment, then you might as well go sit on a beach and let's just be friends, right? Because in the end, business is about turning a profit. So we want to transform marketing into measurable growth. And that's where our behavior modification strategies are understanding which tools are going to influence the right audience to take the right action at the right time. Those are our way of building long-lasting and trusted-based relationships. So what informs our work? Well, we know that we have to create everything from a bespoke process, meaning that as an executive leader in your company, there are ways that you do business. And we want to create campaigns that amplify and actually enhance the way you do business. So if you have a lead generation follow-up system, I don't want to sell you another lead generation follow-up system. We want to enhance and inform the one that you have, right? So that you're not trying to relearn all the time another person's thing. And then when you get tired of it, you got to relearn a whole new system all over again, right? So we want to first find the one that you're the most comfortable with and then inform that. So again, we have our predictability, we have our profitability. All of this is informing the growth pathway. So again, just eliminating the noise, being laser focused on what's going to move the needle and what layers do we need to affect to find the audience and influence them. So, we don't work with hundreds and hundreds of clients. We have over the years, but within a given year, we try to keep our focus to about 30 to 40 key accounts. And with that, we notice that our retention rates are much higher. We get tons of new projects from our current clients because they now are trusting us and they understand that we're not just out to spend their money. And our model is very flat fee oriented. So it's not the more you spend in ads, the more money we make. The last thing I want is an incentive to spend your ad dollars. What I want is a proven growth plan that says, if you give me $1 and I give you $4 back, how many dollars are you willing to give me? Right? And then with our flat fee schedule, our services become lesser and lesser a part of the conversation because your growth is being returned on your ad dollars and your investment. So by having this model of being very bespoke, very specialized, we can still be extremely affordable, but show you relational growth to inform your marketing budget moving forward. We do have a team, as Christine mentioned. We've got content creators. We have LinkedIn outreach people. Ada is my, I call her my welfare agent. She makes sure that I'm well and being fair, everybody. And of course, our executive vice president of sales there in my arms with his groovy sunglasses on, informing the team on what happens next. So we do have a good implementation team to support any of the campaigns that we put in. One of the things that I have a slogan that it says, don't give the client a task. So when we sit down and inform a strategy, we don't tell the client, okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks, go do your homework, right? We say, okay, we're going to go do the homework and we'll see you in 2 weeks and we'll have a check-in and continue to inform the process. So, but why do you need a CMO? I mean, we got AI, right? We got agents, we got resources, and you're going to see today, all throughout the day, lots of different ways to answer that question, right? What do I need next? How can I perform better? How can I optimize my workflow systems? Well, one of the things that we have to remember is that set it and forget it is not a thing. Okay, it's just not a thing. People, when the agencies want to put an ad campaign in and we'll see you in a month to check in and show you how we're doing. No, what we have to do is we have to inform that ad strategy every day, whether it's doing right or it's not doing right. And we need to also look at attribution. So these little graphs here, if you can see that top one in the right says website activity overview, what it's saying is over the course of this 30-day period, look at all the different fluctuations that happen every day, right? From new users to engagement levels to repeat users, right? All of these things are happening every day on the website that we don't really pay much attention to because we have our business to run. So a CMO is watching this every day and saying, okay, what's influencing it? On this other graph just below that, it says page, right? Google Analytics pages. How many page views? What pages are people going to? If you can see, number 4 says the thank you page. That informs us that people are going through the lead generation process, right? So we can see the activity, we can see that, and then on the left side, I've got sources because we actually want to know where people are coming from, right? So my second bullet there about attribution matters. It matters because it informs the growth plan, right? We want to have predictability. Informed marketing leads to predictability. And the only way to grow is to have a profit. But you can't create profit if you can't predict the outcome. I talk about things like critical mass. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Okay. And I'm not dating myself because they brought that 60s ad back again last year. I saw it. I was like, okay, I can use it again. But if we know predictability, how many licks it takes, then we can tell you how much money you can make for that dollar that you just gave me to spend on ads, right? So attribution matters. And then we break it down into 2 categories, ROI versus ROAS. So what that means is you have an investment and you want to know what the return on your investment is in general on the marketing scheme of things, right? You have labor costs, you have subscriptions, you have tracking software, all of those things. That's all part of the marketing cost. So we're going to come to an ROI number eventually. But ROAS is your return on ad spend. And this is where I was saying, if you give me $1 and I give you $4 back, that's a return on your ad spend. So we can say from here how to scale, right? If we know that our return on ad spend is working and we know what the layers are, we know where people are coming on the website, we know where the sources are coming from, right? Those then give us a story. And this is where people miss the mark on data, because data tells a story. If you only look at data, it's a silo of indecision, because on this one screen, I'm seeing activity, but it's not informing how we're making money. It's only telling me one aspect of the business process. People came to my website. Who cares? Right? You can have 1,000 people on your website. If they don't convert, they don't engage, it doesn't matter. Right? But if they've come and they've visited and they took an action, And we saw that that source of that action came through one of our ad channels. And now it's starting to tell a story. The marketing message that we put out in our marketing channels created a reaction. Okay, so it's not just build it, they will come. Now it's how do we convey our marketing message in a way that generates a behavioral reflection. And that could be an emotional connection. It could be a deep discount, right? There's lots of different ways to influence behavior. But in the B2B space in particular, it has to do with pain, right? Or let's solve a problem, or I understand this is an issue around growth. This is how we solve it, right? Those are all things that tell our story as to how the marketing is doing. The data informs it, lets us know what channels are influencing it, but the story is the one that we're looking at, and that's what informs our growth path. So we have layers now, we have trends, and it informs opportunities. One of the things that we do in a marketing assessment is many times we'll talk to the client's customer. And after talking with the customers, we generally uncover opportunities that the client never knew existed, right? And it could be, gosh, I didn't know you guys did that. It could be, God, it would be really great if you guys could do this, right? And by taking that story back to the client, we can now create an informed opportunity. Is there a market for this? Is it something we can do? Do we have the resources to support that, right? We had a nice client conversation yesterday. We were working in aerospace in the marine industry, and then they brought up the idea of oil and gas. Can we work in oil and gas? And so once we started looking at what assets would be required for them to adapt into that market, they realized, yeah, we do have it. They also had some tooling that was going on in their factory that could apply to something different that their clients aren't even considering, right? So informed opportunities, that comes from this engagement layer, it comes from trends in the data, but this is all part of informing the story. So leads to predictability. Marketing leads to predictability. Once we have that, now we can talk about profit. So if we've got profits coming back into the company from the marketing that we're doing, can we take half of that profit and reinvest it back into marketing? We want to make money, so we need to retain earnings, right? But we also want to amplify our growth channels. So what percentage of that profit can we put back? And we like to say, let's split it. And, you know, what the heck? And for some, you know, it's a straight percentage of revenue. For others, it's a percentage of profit. So we just have to have that conversation to understand what works best for the client, right? Because we know profit provides for growth. So how can we reinvest that in ways that will amplify our growth? And sometimes we use ad revenue to amplify organic activity. So maybe we want to take some of that profit and now put on a community event, do a 10K run, right? There are lots of different ways for fundraising, right? Be involved in the community in some way. Let's put our name on a park, right? There's lots of different ways that you know that we can use the profits that build up your organic activity. We have a great SEO partner, and I believe he'll even be presenting here today, Tim at Maxify Pro, and he and I, when we sit down with a joint client, we partner on a lot of programs. We talk about that customer journey and how we can continue to use ads to inform the organic activity. So when these two come together, we see exponential lift, not just a one-to-one relationship. So if you're doing organic in a silo, there's no way you could be as effective as combining it with an advertising strategy. Same holds true in the other way. You can have a great advertising strategy, And we had a client a few years ago that was doing webinars. He would do a 4-hour webinar, right? And we would drive ads and we would drive people, and they was getting people. They'd come in, they were doing live events, all of that good stuff, but they had no foundation on their SEO. So the website activity was all driven by monetization, right? So when you don't have the two working together, they were losing a ton of organic ability to find and retarget and keep relationships going off the ad platform, right? We have to have those two things together so that in the long term, organic grows to the point to where it's having its influence on profits as much as ads are, and sometimes we can pull back on an ad spend when we see organic growth doing great things. One of the things that we had done recently is we do banner ads right to the local community based on showing their ads on television, streaming TV, and so on. And there's a lot of really fun kind of things you can play with there. We can actually take a high-performing Facebook ad or Facebook post and stream that to TV. So now it's on connected television. They see this incredible Facebook video, and now their Facebook page is blowing up. We can then pixel that ad and track it all the way back to walking into their showroom. And we've done all of those things now. So when we say that the two work together, you can see if I invest in ads and now it's on their streaming TV and they walk into my showroom, that showroom walk-in is an organic activity, although influenced through advertising, right? But if you don't have the showroom, they got to know where to walk into, right? So now you're limited to how people can interact with you. So those are the biggest things that when we talk about why a CMO is important, because someone has to pull all of these layers together to tell your story, right? You need someone that understands and is intuitive to use the tools that are available to optimize the workflows, to inform the data, and then turn that into a strategy or inform the strategy for growth. So I've said a lot. I'd love to open it up for any questions. If there's any deep dive area that we want to go into, I'm happy to do that. This QR code will take you to freeideasession.com. Anyone can book 30 minutes with me at no charge to talk about their strategy and look at what some of those options are. Also on my website, I have this free download, which is optimizing your content for voice and AI search. And it's just a nice 3-page article to give you some direction on what to consider. And so those things are there. And then, of course, there's phone numbers and emails, and all roads lead to Rome. And I'd be happy to spend time with anyone that would like to have that deep dive.
CoaxConsulting.com, COAX. And I do have to brag about you a little bit, Joel. Our working with our few clients that we work with, Sacramento and beyond, have been pretty amazing results. Like one company, I think we've added $1 million to their top line revenue over the last 7 or 8 years. You've been a big part of that in the last few years, and so I just want to thank you for putting food on the table for the clients, for our families, and just making sure that the messaging is getting out there properly. You're a man of integrity. You do what you say what you do. You have a great team. And I know this firsthand, not secondhand. And so I want to just let everybody know that if you don't take a picture of that QR code, you're a little bit crazy, because Joel is somebody you want to at least look up on LinkedIn or do something to keep him in your circle of awesomeness, so that you can call on him, connect with him, grab a 20-minute phone call, grab a quick Zoom chat with him. And for those who are listening here today, that am I understanding that there won't be a charge for that, Joel? Is that correct?
Not only is there not a charge, but I will buy the coffee.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it comes with coffee, even better. And I have to second what you said, Timothy, because I've sent clients and he's my go-to for ads. And you know, he always just does such a fantastic job.
I love what you said about ROI versus ROAS or ROAS, and not everybody knows the difference. And we always want a good ROI in general, and that's what you produce. But then when it gets down to ads, that can get really costly really quickly, but it can also be very profitable very quickly. So I love how you break that down, bring all the numbers. You're a metrics driven professional, and I want to highlight that because if your marketing team isn't bringing their numbers at least once a month, that's I mean, you might have hired a friend and that's, that's a good place to start, but at some point you got to get into the metrics, like you got to get into the numbers. And so either things are working or they aren't. And Joel's just taken my game to another level by pushing making sure the numbers are available and clear and easy to understand. I mean, he uses imagery and all these little green dots and all these different things on the projects that we work on. And that's a story for another day, but it's super fun to work with Joel. And I recommend taking a quick picture of that screen right there, or looking Joel up on LinkedIn or some other place. And Joel Snyder, SNYDER, ladies and gentlemen. So really appreciate you. Any other last thoughts, Joel, on what we've been sort of discussing here?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I can't tell you how honored and privileged I am to hear those words and to have these relationships. It really has done a lot for me and in my business as well. And I just want to respond in kind and say thank you to both of you for the influence that you've provided. And likewise, being able to tap into your all's genius, we can't do it all. It's kind of like raising a child, it takes a village. And marketing is such a broad category that, not one person is going to be the best at everything, right? So having these strategic partnerships to help build businesses is extremely important. And
Joel, can you share a little bit about how being part of the Giver Marketing Network has affected your business from a metric standpoint, team members, growth, and both team members and some sort of revenue, maybe percentage wise? Like how have things been going?
So I can tell you firsthand. I started in the network is now well over 100 members or whatever it is. Within that group, the one thing that was important to me was to be able to grow my agency with specialists that are good at something, right? In particular that needed. So moving a project forward. And in agency growth, it can happen a couple different ways. But for me, it was about starting with a high-level professional on a project. And then informing and learning and understanding and keeping them close to us and allowing that training to then become a staff member in our company, and what's important or how we can support it so that these knowledge professionals are, they're generally not, they're going to do a job, but they're not going to do the whole job, right? So you need to have a support team that works with these professionals that can implement, right, and execute, and then bring back the conversation. So Christine can tell you what a good website looks like. She can build you a great website, but somebody still has to provide content, provide blog articles, right? All of those things. And so having a content team to be able to inform someone like Christine, she's going to make a great output, right? And so that's where the network has been really instrumental, is for us to have those different elements available when we need it, where we need it. And so our agency has grown. Well, we doubled since COVID. We've doubled our our capacity, both
Yeah,
with employees and in clients.
it's been really fun to watch since we've started working together, and the team sort of developing, and your determination to serve clients well. And it's been fun to watch just about everything I've seen you put your hands on double. And whether that's your team doubling, your revenue doubling, you're helping your clients' revenue doubling at different times in different ways for different reasons. And so just watching that sort of that Midas touch sort of happen with the help of the support of a network, support of some resources, and just some encouragement, like, hey, you got this, man. Like, we got this. Like, let's do it together. And filling in those gaps. I come from a sports background, so I'm always like, where's my starters? Where am I? Where's my bench? My deep bench to sort of come in as needed. And how do we go win a championship? Mm-hmm. Like that's sort of like how I think, and I, right or wrong, like that's just how I think. And so, and in this case, we're playing for the client. Like, we want the client to win. We want them to really be the champion or the hero in the story. And we're there to sort of coordinate, orchestrate, coach, consult, and like you said, sort of bring that marketing genius or CMO level strategy to the game. And it's so fun to match with the right clients. And if it's not a perfect match, then maybe we hand them off to somebody else that maybe they're more local. They want to see somebody in person, or maybe they're have a specific background or a certain tone of voice, or whatever it is. Whatever's best for the client, we need to make that happen. So, and that's what I love about working with both of you, Christine and Joel here. And so, yeah, seeing all that that doubling of all the key metrics it kind of gets me up in the morning, gets excited. It gets exciting. So
and to you as well, Timothy. I mean, you've built your passion to build this network and to bring in good people, allows that process to happen. And so it's been fun watching your mentorship across the group and the advice that you give both the solopreneurs and the agency teams alike to really do well. So
yeah, we were talking earlier about sharpening each other's saws as we enter into the forest of awesome, of the forest and the journey. So, Christine, what do you got for us next? Thank you again, Joel. Everybody look Joel Snyder up.
My pleasure. Yeah. So great